silly Islamophobes say that Muhammad was a paedophile because he married his wife when she was underage.
The first question would be, what is the age of marriage?
18 that you're allowed to be married?
Depends where you live. Different countries have different ages, different numbers.
Yeah.
So Islam does not give a number, it gives a criteria. And that criteria is physical maturity, psychological and emotional maturity, and societal norms. For us to understand the Prophet Muhammad peace be upon him and his marriage to Aisha, we have to look at the context. He was married multiple times. She was the youngest of all of his wives. The rest of his wives were widows and divorcees, majority of them. So it's not the behavior or traits of a person who wants to marry young, number one. Number two, we look at the context of the time and place. Was this the norm amongst the Arabs at the time? We look at Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her. Prior to the Prophet Muhammad peace be upon him, she was already engaged to another individual. At that young age, she was already engaged. She was the norm amongst the society. Life expectancy was lower and women used to marry younger. And the enemies of Islam, they never criticized the Prophet Muhammad peace be upon him for his marriage to Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her. Why? Because it was the norm amongst the society. Globally speaking, for the last 1,000 years plus, this was never an issue. Christian societies, secular societies, Muslim societies, it was never an issue. Why? Because this was a global practice. People would marry young, and we see this in royal family members and other things like this. So marrying young was the norm globally, until more recent times where now we have ages that we have set up right to marry. Her father actually gave consent for her marriage to the Prophet Muhammad peace be upon him. What they are insinuating is that he took advantage of her, she was a victim of abuse, and these sort of connotations behind this accusation. We look at Aisha radiallahu anha, may Allah be pleased with her. She excelled in Islam as a scholar. She wasn't held back in life, which is what normally happens to a person who goes through abuse as a young child. She excelled as a scholar in Islam, transmitted thousands of narrations from Prophet Muhammad peace be upon him, so that we know some of the intricate details on how we should live with our family members, etc. She lived for 50 years after the Prophet Muhammad peace be upon him passed away. Never once did she say about any ill treatment that he did during her time with him. But now when it comes to the modern day, just because she was physically mature at that age, which in that part of the world, in warmer climates, women do menstruate earlier and younger. Diets and climates and these things do affect it. And even till this day, you can see that as well around the world. But it's not just that. If a person reaches the physical maturity, are they emotionally, psychologically ready for marriage? And even then, does society accept it as a norm? So even if a woman in this day and age was ready, physically, psychologically ready for it, a girl rather, the society would not accept it as a norm. So it's not something which we practice today. Neither is it a commandment in Islam for every Muslim man to go and marry at this age. So this was the context to understand why did he do this and the full picture behind it as well.
I totally understand. Thank you so much for your explanation.